welcome everybody to episode 3 of the Winter Podcast. Who thought we would be here? And with your host, me, Tommy Vodka, I've brought a few of our lovely members of the Winter Clan community to talk about gaming, geek, and why not life in general and all the things that surround us here. Today I have an all-star cast. It's our first episode with 4 members, so I'm really excited for the banter, for the exchange here. I'll kick it off with Bearded first. Bearded, welcome to the podcast. You know that once you're in one episode, you're committing to being in a bunch of episodes in the future, right? You better know that.
Yeah, I think that's a commitment I'm willing to make. It's going to be fun.
I love that. I need to get a deep bench of guests, because we'll be cranking these bad boys out every 2 weeks, and I want to hear all people's different perspectives on the games they like to play, the stuff they like to talk about. So great to have you here. Bearded, you are our legate for new games. You're a respected member of the community. Tell us a little bit about how did you come about Winter? How did you find out about Winter? What brought you to the community to begin with?
I joined Winter about 2.5 years ago or so, and it was for Apex Legends. And I was really burnt out in that game, and it was still just season 1 of Apex Legends, but I was still burnt out. And I was like really close to giving it up. And I happened to see like an R Clan subreddit Winter Clan post with an invite link. And I joined up, and I think I'd been in the clan a total of like 2 or 3 weeks before I was an LT for Apex. And then I've been in leadership ever since, and moved on to other games. And, it was really the community here that's like kept me in and kept me playing. And so, yeah, that was Apex Legends is my OG.
I heard it's a pretty solid community for gamers, some might say, right?
Yeah, it is. They're a wild bunch and on the Apex crew, but they.
Do you still play Apex?
If you ever get the chance. Occasionally, I find myself I don't play it as much as I used to.
I played a ton of Apex Season 1, and it was one of my favorite games to play with friends. I've actually dropped out. I do that a lot with games, unfortunately. It's becoming a constant theme here in our episodes. I should get back to it at some point because I always had a great time playing Apex. It is an amazing game.
I always love the lore of it more than I like the actual gameplay. Like, I even I like
the goodies. I like when the goodies come out.
I have the official lore book that I keep here on my desk and I reference just because it's fun to read.
Fantastic. Well, speaking of lore, we actually, one of the next episodes we're trying to plan out is a winter lore episode where we're bringing Robbie and Ben just to go into the weeds of the different factions, of Arma, all that good stuff. So that should be just a little teaser there for future episodes, but that's awesome. Awesome. Glad to have you here with us, Bearded. Next in the queue, Dark Ascendant. Welcome. Glad to have you here with us.
Hey, guys. Bit of a last-minute edition, but happy to be here.
Last but certainly not least. And Dark, you are lieutenant for Switch. What does that mean, right? We have a lot of games for Switch. What are some of the main ones you go to there?
Main ones I go to, I run events for all 3 of them. Mario Kart 8, Smash, Splatoon 3 as well, as Splatoon 3 recently just came out. I mainly stick to Mario Kart and Smash because we've got 2 amazing people down in Switch who run Splatoon 3 events twice a week at least. So I go for Mario Kart and Smash.
So I never played Splatoon before. I played Splatoon 3's demo, but as I'm reading news, I'm just flabbergasted by how popular Splatoon is in Japan. I read that out of every physical game sales in Japan in every console, 69% of all those sales were Splatoon 3, and I was reading like 1% of the entire population of Japan has Splatoon 3. So it's clearly a cultural phenomenon, and outside of Japan, it's also selling gangbusters, but it seems like Splatoon is like probably one of the biggest Nintendo IPs at this point.
Yeah, it definitely is one of the biggest ones, considering that Smash is basically wrapped up and finished with the DLCs. Mario Kart, they're just adding in new tracks, and that's about it. And obviously, they've kind of just left Splatoon 2 to the back burner while they work on Splatoon 3. But it's definitely one of the more popular of our games.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I didn't buy it just because I've been really busy. You know, I've been doing this podcast on the side called the Winter Clan Podcast. But eventually, maybe I like how cool the Squid Kids are. Like they're very trendy, and you can put like all these cool outfits and cool shoes. So I'm big into character customization. So I really like, and the gameplay is really really silky smooth. Well, awesome. Glad to have you here as well, Dark. And Glade, calling in from the bottom right corner, are Cat Marshall for Flippy Car Soccer, aka Rocket League.
Flippy Car Soccer. Okay.
I'm sure you've heard that one before, right?
Oh yeah, no, never. No. Yeah, it's been called a lot worse, so you know what I mean. I'll accept it. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of soccer in general, I'm purposefully rocking my Brazil jersey because the World Cup is almost upon us. So I'm getting in the mood. I'm excited. I haven't played a lot of Flippy Car Soccer lately, but it's definitely one of my favorite games to kind of just pick up and play, have some funsies there. It's a wild game overall.
It absolutely is, man. It used to be just like one of my back burner games, like, you know, when I first started. So now it's become obviously more than that. It's kind of just been my main grind for the most part. So it's actually, you know, a lot of fun, you know, especially being in leadership, you know, as well. So
that's awesome. So you said it used to be your back burner game. Did you join Winter to play Rocket League, or did you join Winter for other games?
So this is just funny. I used to main Fortnite before I did. I know.
Great game. Know. Fantastic game. I've been burning through those battle passes.
It dropped, and you know, I dove right in. To follow up with that, though, is then I actually broke off of Fortnite, went to Apex Legends. So you know what I mean? Like that was, you know, it fit right in. Well, it was definitely, to me, it felt like a better game. I like the visual aspect, and the lore is amazing. And then, you know, my friends we'd always break off afterwards and go play Rocket League, you know, usually after I had a few on or something like that. And so then I ended up looking up, I actually wanted to start trying to learn how to play the game, get better at the game. And then I actually ended up finding Winter Clan posts in Rocket League Friends subreddit. And that's how I found my way here.
Amazing. Well, you should walk me through the getting better at the game part of it, because I never wrapped my head around that. But speaking of Fortnite, I think Yumi and Clutch got a few games in last night, and that was good fun.
We did.
I've talked about this, I think, on all 3 episodes at this point. I've been having a tremendous time with Fortnite No Build. So it's a great game.
Fun to revisit. It's fun to revisit. Absolutely.
It's just I was surprised. I never lies. I actually I played OG Fortnite, and like I started shooting some kid. He built a fort in like 0.5 seconds, and I was like, all right, I'm out. But going back to it, I'm just surprised how polished the game is. It's just like the skins are well done, the gameplay is smooth, all that stuff. So it's been great to see the community grow really rapidly around Fortnite No Build. I don't know if people are playing Fortnite Build mode. I don't know if that mode has completely died out. I've only seen No Build.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not my cup of tea.
I know that I've been following some of our recruitment posts on some of the Reddits, and there is still like some interest, people asking if we do build mode. And, you know, what we've been telling people is like, it's not our primary mode, but that I think there are some people that are getting in some matches doing build mode, but the vast majority of our people are playing no build, save the world, that kind of stuff.
I need to play Save the World, because I still haven't had the chance to do that. Awesome. Well, let's get right to it. We have a few some news and things we want to talk about the geek world in general. We can start off with everyone please typing up F in the chat, because Google Stadia is dead. Another brand name to Google's graveyard of brands. Let's start off with was anyone here bullish on Stadia or jumped on the Stadia bandwagon when it first started? No judgment, this is a safe space.
I was in the beta program where they gave us the free Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and man, I loved it. I watched the reveal trailer, and there were so many things that they put in that reveal trailer that never actually came to be, but were so exciting. Like the whole idea of like, I'm going to be able to watch a streamer on YouTube and then join in with his game. like where he's at. Like they were promising these kind of things, and so like there was so much hype. And I even went back and rewatched the trailer and prep for this just to see, and it still had those vibes. Like, man, if I didn't know in the back of my head that this was dying. Because Google doesn't let anything live, but I would still be excited for this. But I never could get on actually investing in it, buying a subscription or purchasing games for it. Other than like I said, I played the mess out of Assassin's Creed on it when they gave it to me for free, and after that, I just kind of supported it from a distance, hoping it would do well.
Fair enough. Any other takers? Anyone dabbled in the Google Stadia universe?
Nope.
Like I said, like Bearda kind of said in the beginning, when they dropped their trailer for it initially, they made it look better than anything that we're using currently. And you know what I mean? The appeal for it was through the roof. And I also played Assassin's Creed during the time that they were just giving it out. So it had a bit of a following for me, but then for obvious reasons, I never ended up using that platform on PC. So I ended up using Steam, and then Epic has tons of free games. So there was never really a need for me to even stay with Stadia. And then I kind of feel like everybody else felt the same way. And hence, Google just didn't care. And they were just like, fine, let it die. So,
But I would say one of the best things about Stadia is not Stadia. It's that Microsoft and PlayStation, they were all already working on this whole cloud gaming thing before Stadia came out. But then Stadia just kind of pushed it into the forefront of the conversation in the gaming community. And they showed that, hey, this could actually be viable. But actually, Microsoft and PlayStation were much better suited to do cloud gaming than Google was, And so I think we actually see some good improvements with Microsoft Game Pass and cloud gaming and PlayStation Plus gaming and stuff like that. And I think we have Stadia to thank for that, honestly.
Most likely.
Yeah, I think to me I never actually dabbled with Stadia itself, but I did dabble with other cloud gaming services, primarily xCloud, I think that's still their beta name, right? But the cloud gaming service that comes with Game Pass, and then Amazon Luna that comes with a Prime membership. To me, what was weird about Stadia is that I think cloud gaming is really nice, especially let's say like you travel for work or travel for fun or whatever on the go. I would never default. I'm also lucky enough to have like a gaming PC and consoles and whatnot, so I would never default to that. But to me, like any multiplayer game is just out. I'm not going to play that via cloud computing, right? The latency just makes it impossible. Like something like Odyssey, I would definitely give it a go. But to me, it was weird that they have, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding was that they had the subscription, and then you still had to buy the game. Like I'm sure they had discounts and some that were bundled in, but you had to buy a full featured game as opposed to in xCloud, you're getting the Game Pass games. In Luna, a lot of them are not AAA, but you're just getting kind of a portfolio of games. You just jump in and play there. I thought it was the value prop of having to buy a game that you don't even own because it's just being streamed. Of course, you don't own any games nowadays that are digital, but that just seemed a little bit too much, for me to really think it would have a long-lasting impression in the gaming world.
Yeah, I think that's really kind of what kept me away from it personally was that I want to be able to buy a game, and if I am going to do cloud gaming, I want to say that this is mine. Like I still have that ownership of things, and that kind of took that away from me. And also the chances of me using it on a phone or a tablet, not unless I bought one of the a hardware Bluetooth keyboard or attachment, and then with the Steam Deck coming out, that just kind of blew away. What need do you have to do Stadia gaming when you have a Steam Deck that exists?
Absolutely.
I already flexed my Steam Deck last episode, so I won't do it this time. But I fucking love my Steam Deck. It's like the best gadget, electronic gadget I've ever bought. It's just so much fun. It works so well. 10 out of 10 would highly recommend. Actually, a little piece of news is that I'm actually shocked that Valve has covered all their backlog of Steam Decks, and now you can just order them immediately because I'm happy because more people can have it, but I waited 8 months in a queue to be able to order mine, and I did it last month, and now they're readily available. But it's impressive to me because with all the shortages, I'm surprised Valve was able to pull it off, and good on them.
Super excited.
Speaking of which, I believe I heard the other day about a Steam Deck 2.
Yes, so it's not confirmed. So it was really interesting. I don't even know the details, but apparently Valve their brand recognition is not very high in Japan. So they came out with like a history of Valve booklet to promote the Steam Deck because portable devices are very popular in Japan. And in the booklet, they talked about Steam Deck 1, and that's an official book released by Valve, and they talked about the future iterations of Steam Deck. So we don't really know if it's going to be called Steam Deck 2. We don't really know when it's going to come out. But also, it's not hard to imagine, right? The success of the Steam Deck has been so massive that obviously something else is coming up, but that's the first kind of indication and confirmation that Valve says we will iterate. We don't know if it's a Steam Deck Pro, if it's a Steam Deck 2, but there will be other decks coming out. So yeah, that's pretty exciting, I think, overall. But yeah, ultimately, I think the main thing, I think, in the long run, too, of Google Stadia was that they talked about places where consoles are very expensive, right? I mean, I'm from Brazil, buying like a video game console, a gaming PC. None of them are produced there. Like, costs are very prohibitive. And they talked about, because you don't need to own anything, right? A piece of hardware, you can just stream it. But then the other side of it, it depends, right? But a lot of places there, the internet is absolute crap. So that wouldn't work either, right? So I think the idea was right. And I think cloud gaming has a pretty bright future, maybe 10 years down the line. I don't know, when very extensive broadband, maybe satellite internet is widespread and easy to use. But I think it might have been just a little too early, or maybe it should have been something paired with something else, right? I think Microsoft is actually doing it best with xCloud is just a part of Game Pass. It's not the end all be all. It's just a little nice to have, because I don't think cloud gaming is the bulk of it. It's just, if I ever want to do that and internet's decent, I can hop on and do that.
Yeah, and I think that's why that's been more successful for Microsoft and PlayStation, is because it's auxiliary to something they're already providing you. Where with Stadia, it's the whole hog with Stadia. You have to be really committed to have bought the Stadia Pro controller and all that stuff, and then of course now you're probably getting a refund for the hardware you purchase and things. But I mean, you had to be really committed to make that jump.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised they're refunding every purchase, both hardware and software, for the Stadia. That was a pleasant surprise. I guess I didn't buy anything, but I'm surprised that they're rolling it since the beginning. What I felt bad, I was reading some stories. Some homie has like 6,000 hours on Red Dead Redemption 2 on Stadia, and his save is going to be wiped. Yeah. I'm like, come on, guys, you got to work this out somehow.
There was a petition. There was a petition to let him migrate his save state over to PlayStation or something like that.
Yeah,
the PC version. I don't know what came of it though.
CDPR is actually migrating Cyberpunk's. I think everyone who owns Cyberpunk on Stadia and had saves, they're giving them like PC versions of that. I thought that was pretty solid too. CDPR, a lot of things I can complain on what they've done, but I thought that was a nice little thing to do there.
Yeah, 'cause that's another sad thing, because they did that when PS3 went to PS4. They allowed, there was a bunch of games that, mainly GTA is what I think of, where they allowed you to port your account over to your PS4 so you could keep all your progress and everything. But they only had a 6-month block, and that was it. You were allowed to do it then and only then. So I had one with progress that never made it to next gen or a new Rockstar account. So it just stinks that Stadia is not going to be we'll honor that. Yeah. Well,
speaking of transitioning accounts from one thing to another and it being a complete mess, Overwatch 2 is out now, everyone. Who's excited about that?
Yes, I was thinking the same exact thing. I was like, I know a bunch of people who lost progress on their characters right now.
I'm one of those people.
Man, I'm excited about it. I never played Overwatch 1. First off, I never bought it, and then when I did have a chance to play it without purchasing it, I was already waiting to Apex and other games. I didn't feel like I had time. But with the announcement of Overwatch 2 being free to play and going to a Battle Pass system, man, I was one of those people downloading it in the 50,000 person queues waiting to get in.
Yeah.
But once you got in, it was sweet, man. I was enjoying it. As a brand new Overwatch player, I was I was so excited. I can't tell you the names of any of the little characters you play. I'm like such an old man when it comes to playing Overwatch 2, but I'm like, hey, this person looks cool. Let's go. And it's pretty fun.
Dark, Glade, have you guys dipped your toes in Overwatch?
Yeah.
I have not yet, not in the new one. I have played Overwatch. There was a free week or free weekend or something, maybe a year ago or more. Might be more than that now. But I know that they did like a weekend or free weekend, and I ended up getting on Overwatch then, and I really enjoyed the game. The only reason I never bought it was because it was, wasn't free to play at the time. And so lately I've been watching, people from Winter streaming it, and I think it was actually on the Winter stream the other night. So I got to check out a lot of gameplay for it, and it looks amazing and it looks awesome, especially for like the diehard Overwatch like fans, and even people like Bearded who are just like picking it up for the first time, and they're like, yeah, let me dive in. And it's definitely super fun gameplay, and kind of feels at home for some of the stuff that I've already played. Players all have abilities, stuff like that. Again, it's not my forte, but like it's definitely up my alley.
Dark, have you played Overwatch 2, or were you more of an Overwatch 1 person?
I played Overwatch 1 from 2019. I'm not entirely sure. I was a bit late to the gaming scene. So I played Overwatch 1. I used to, when I first got it, I was playing it every single day, and then obviously there was a point where I barely went onto Overwatch, obviously, because Destiny 2 won't say any more there. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch 2, not as much as I would like, because I've been busy with work and stuff like that. I was there on day one with Overwatch 2, 20,000 people into the queue. It took me half an hour to get into the game.
That's not too bad, actually. That's on the lower side of things.
I was in the voice chat with Berserk at the time, and it took him over 2 hours to get into the queue. He was not happy with me after that, but yeah. I really like it. I have switched mains for tank from Diva to Jungle Queen, just because more survivability. And I've got to play the game with Jungle Queen already, so yeah. But yeah, I really like Overwatch 2. Glad to see winter community for Overwatch 2 is popping off, shall I say.
Oh yeah, it do be busting it down for real.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lost track of how many people signed up today for that event.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was looking, it was also Catula's birthday, and I hadn't seen as many people in voice chat outside of leadership calls before that, so that was great to see. Warmed my heart. But yeah, Overwatch is an interesting one for me. I bought Overwatch 1 at launch. I've always been a huge Blizzard fan, not anymore. They've let me down many times now. But back in 2016 when it first came out, I thought Diablo 3 had legs and all that good stuff. And I loved it. I played a lot, like just like you, Dark. I was playing every day with my friends. And then I went down the dark path that you should do it not even once. I started playing comp. And I consider myself a pretty chill person. That went out the window when I started playing competitive Overwatch. And I played League of Legends, I played Counter-Strike, I played a bunch of competitive shooters, but I don't know what it was about Overwatch. Like my friends were like, Tommy, like we just don't want to play with you anymore, man. Like you're a terrible person when you're playing Overwatch. So I kind of dropped it completely. I checked my achievements and I hadn't played Overwatch since July of 2016, but I've been having a blast with Overwatch. It's a little confusing to me because Overwatch 2 shouldn't be called Overwatch 2. It's just Overwatch 1 with a couple new heroes and a couple new maps. It plays exactly like the first one. It's like almost everything is exactly the same. It's just not even a new coat of paint really. It's just kind of it seems like a new season. But not even trying to be all mopey here, but it's been amazing. Like playing with the winter community has been absolutely the highlight, and that applies for every game. But everyone's just been like so fun, so non-toxic. We have so many like pro players that as you're playing, they're kind of like giving you tips and like not in like a bossy way, just like, oh, try this if you're having trouble with that hero, or try that. And that has been awesome. I've been having a great time with that, which was the opposite of when I was playing Overwatch 1 and comp. But hey, I still haven't played competitive in Overwatch 2, so maybe I'll go back to Toxic Tommy before you know it.
Not even once. Stay away.
Toxic Tommy.
No, that's kind of what gets it for me. If I don't think I would even have tried to touch Overwatch 2 if I was not in the Winter community and had Winter people to play with, because hopping onto a new game with a bunch of randoms and not knowing what I'm doing is just the worst to me. Like, I don't even want to try that. But just knowing that I had solid, good people that I could play with, I could hop in a voice chat, we could actually coordinate and have comms, and I knew that someone wasn't going to just chew me out for being terrible, because I am. But, you know, like that reassurance is, man, it makes enjoying new games so much more. Like, I was just trying out a new game called Shatterline today, and I played my first match solo with randoms, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm feeling this game or not. And then someone in Winter saw that I was playing this, like, oh, let me jump in with you. And then the moment I had someone else from Winter in the game with me and we were playing, it just like my enjoyment went through.
Bearded, it's put under suggested games. Tell me a little bit about Shatterline. I've seen like the logo. I don't know. Is it a competitive shooter? Is it a Escape from Tarkov type? What's the deal there?
No. All right. Imagine it has some. It's PvE and PvP, and so in the PvE you do these campaigns where you go in and you're just fighting against monsters. You have objectives. It's very Destiny-like.
Oh, nice.
Because there's different gameplay mechanisms and crowd control and all sorts of stuff that you got to organize. Like, imagine doing, they call them excavations, I think is what they call them. And imagine it being like a really low tier, easy Destiny raid.
Okay.
Is
there
loot? How
loot?
you want to go. Yeah, there's loot that you can get in them. Their thing in the game is getting blueprints to unlock new armor and equipment and things for your guns and rifles. And so when you go into your first objective, the way you do it is it's a 3-man squad. And after you've completed your first objective, you vote. And if 2 people vote to end it, you leave with the loot you've gotten. But there are 4 possible objectives, so you can actually make it longer. And if you do all 4 objectives, it takes a while. I mean, it's an investment of time. But then they have a PvP mode where you're on teams of 6, and it's like your standard team deathmatch, conquest, guard the moving thing from point A to point B. That's the name of that one.
Gotta love
it. Whatever. It's just random, and so you just play 6v6, and then they have about 9 or 10 different playable characters that each have a class. So there's a couple healers, and then you got your tank type people, and your berserker, and your sniper, and your shotgun person, and the gunplay feels like really good Call of Duty. Like,
so it's a quick time to kill. Like, you shoot a person, a headshot.
Yes. Quick time to kill. Very clean, very smooth. Like, it's you don't have to do this whole like, oh, I wasn't leading him ahead. Like, it's pretty much you point and shoot, very clean movement, quick time to kill. But it's like, so if you're doing PvE, it's more Destiny-ish, but I would say like Destiny light, like not hard, not that much intense. And then if you're doing PvP, it's very much like fun Call of Duty. It's like Call of Duty, but with special powers.
What is the aesthetic like? Is it like military people? Is it like magic space people? What's the vibe?
It's very military. It's a combination, because the whole idea is that this like cosmic phenomenon has happened that's like taken over the world, and have been like some cosmic deity has granted you immunity to whatever virus, and so you are like a part of a tactical force called the Immune, and you're going in to cleanse these areas of this virus-ridden people, and so it's very futuristic, very spacey, but the feel is military, squad oriented. All your guns, you're not shooting super space guns. It's
like some assault rifles and stuff.
Yeah, it's still assault rifles and shotguns and stuff. Some of them do have like crystal powers, like where you've incorporated some of the enemy's powers into your weapon, but it's not like super futuristic. You're not going around with a plasma rifle or
so it's not Halo.
Like that. Yeah, it's more realistic type stuff. But
awesome.
It's super smooth gameplay, really enjoyable. I would highly recommend it. If you're in Winter Clan, listen to this, go and give it an upvote and download it.
If that sounds good,
free,
and you're listening to this, go to Suggested Games, give it an upvote. Let's make it happen.
Listen, I'm
Yeah.
enticed already.
Same.
It already sounds legit. So
Yeah, that does sound pretty good. Yeah, I haven't looked at it. Like when you posted it there, I went on the Steam page and I looked at a few screenshots, but I had no idea. I had no idea what the game. It reminds me of another game I actually added to my wish list recently. It's on early access. I actually saw people talk about it either in Chat Prestige or Gen Chat. Marauders, which it's like space pirates, but they're like space pirates, but they have like an old like World War II kind of vibe to it. But it also has like a PvP, PvE, Escape from Tarkov type vibe where like you have objectives, but other teams could be fighting for it too, and then you can kill them for their loot and all that stuff. I kind of like that. It reminds me of Destiny, the Division 1 with the dark zones. I love that.
Yeah.
To me, that was such a. I think they were one of the first to do that. That was good fun because you were balancing like, oh, should I extract my crap or should I like get more? But then other people could attack me. That they did a little bit of that in Division 2, but it just didn't hit as well. But I always thought that concept was always good fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, to wrap up, going back to Overwatch 2, what's everyone's mains here? Although Bearded said he doesn't know the little people's names in the game, what are we maining here?
Just describe it.
I would say my main is since I don't know the little people's names. Mine's the audio healer that's like black.
Lucio
DJ.
from Brazil.
Lucio.
Lucio's from Brazil,
Okay.
man. He's my man.
All right, Lucio. That's the guy I play the most.
Sweet. How about you, Dark?
I've got a main for each role, just be more flexible. As I said, Jungle Queen for tank. DPS, not very good, but Soldier 76. And for support, Mercy.
Fantastic. Glade, what's your
Mercy.
Overwatch knowledge there? Let's see it.
Literally, the only thing I remember playing was Widowmaker, and that's it. I'm
that's fair.
ignorant to Overwatch. I'll admit it, but that's all I know.
No, that's fair. That's more than fair. I like to main Zarya mostly. She's a tank. I like it because she's a big, beefy girl, and the more damage she takes, the more damage she does. So it's just fun to like throw yourself in the middle of the enemies and then just unload her big gun on them. But DPS, yesterday I was playing with Dad Annoying Boy, Shadows, and a few other people. I started playing Cassidy. He's the cowboy guy. He's fun because he has like a Magnum. So he doesn't shoot a lot, but when he hits, it deals a lot of damage. So the problem is I'm not really good at aiming, but every once in a while when I hit someone, it usually kills them. So that's a positive. And then for support, I like playing Moira because she's not really a support. She's just a DPS that is moonlighting as a support character. So she just has like two beams. One of them, like you shoot the beam and it heals your friends. The other one, you shoot the beam and it hurts your enemies. So it's kind of fun because you can deal a good amount of damage there. But I'm excited to see more of Overwatch 2. I know that one of the big shtick of Overwatch 2 was that they're also going to release a PvE mode because Overwatch has a lot of lore around it. Like they make little videos about characters. There's a whole story between like the two factions and whatnot. So it'd be cool to see how that looks. And even in Overwatch 1, I never played it, but I remember reading there were some events where they would like shoehorn in some like mini PvE modes. So I think the whole world would be interesting to create something that's more collaborative. But even so far, just PvP, I think, has been a lot of fun to play there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Speaking of, I don't have a good transition for this one, but because I think it just shocked everyone here, Hugh Jackman, he's back as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. What do we think about that?
Pure chaos is what I think. I have loved his and Ryan Reynolds' internet feud over the years.
Yep.
And just so it's always I hate to call it cute, but it's always cute. Just them doing their little jokes and gags with each other, and the reveal where he's just coming through getting his coffee and stuff in the background, like that was just perfect. I think it's super excited. People have been wanting to see the real Deadpool, not the one that showed
2009 one.
Not the old one. People want to
stop.
see the real Deadpool with the real Wolverine, and we're going to get to see it. And so I think it's going to be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest things is that they are able to essentially right the wrongs from the first, like you said, right, the 2009 movie. It's funny because that Wolverine was there. So I'm sure there are going to be so many quips about that, and it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
To me, like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, I don't know why it reminds me of Terraria the game, because they said, oh, this is our last update, like we're never doing anything else more, and then like a year later, like, oh, here's like a free update, like we're just releasing a bunch more things, and like Hugh Jackman is kind of like that. He's like, no, I'm done with Wolverine, and then he made Logan, like, oh, I'm done with Wolverine. Now he's in Deadpool 3. He just keeps coming back for more, and I think it works. Like the original X-Men movies were great at the time because I was super young and they looked amazing. But looking back, they're kind of meh, especially like the first two are okay, but then it just gets worse and worse. But
they
I feel like
didn't live up.
Yeah, I feel Hugh Jackman was the one thing that consistently was like, yep, this is Wolvie big time, like this is good shit. So I'm just glad to see more of him, and in this like less serious role in some ways, I think it's going to be super spot on.
If they don't make some kind of gag in the Deadpool movie where his mouth is sewn shut or something, it's not going to be worth it. Like, they have to troll the old X-Men movie as hard as possible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you got to. And Ryan Reynolds already did a good amount of that in Deadpool 1 and 2. I feel like there was a lot of mentions
absolutely.
to
definitely,
that movie. Yeah. I'm gonna admit I actually never even seen that movie, so I don't know how bad it is. I just know it's very bad.
You're better off. You're better off.
What was the name of that? Was it like Wolverine Origins? Is that the
X-Men
one?
Origins?
X-Men Origins.
X-Men Origins.
Yeah, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah.
So just to touch on that though, they like it's one of those things as being like a comic book fan, like you watch some of them and you get like really excited about most parts, but then there's like a few key details that you're like, why would you ruin that for us? Like, because the majority of the following, like it may not be the majority, I could be completely wrong, but the majority of the following is going to be people who grew up with these comic books and TV shows. I don't know about you, but I grew up watching X-Men TV series and
the animated series.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every day I used to rush home from school and make sure I could watch it. You know what I mean? Like that was like my routine. So like to see these adaptations is like absolutely amazing. And I'm sure like a lot of people follow me on that. So like, like X-Men Origins, like that movie was great. But then like literally the mass populace was absolutely irked about how they portrayed Deadpool because they're like, that's not even remotely close. Like you guys didn't even try.
Yeah.
And that's why it's such a big meme, like even in the Deadpool movies, that he's just like, that's a joke. And then like the best part of me, just like for me, is like just even talking about like any Wolverine movie in general was like the, reading all like the comic books, and then literally in the comic books, Deadpool describes himself as a young Ryan Reynolds. So like for him to fill that role in like the first Deadpool movie, or even in X-Men Origins, was still awesome. You know what I mean? Like just to have Ryan Reynolds in that role before he turned into Mouthless Man. And then like that was also the movie that got leaked all over the internet, like before it was even done. So there was like the non-CGI version that was out everywhere, which even made it look worse. So, and then, just even touching on the new movie coming out, it's like really amazing because like, it was already mentioned before, they're going to be able to do what they want with this movie versus being PG-ified. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, because like Wolverine and Deadpool, any of the comics you would read, they're not nice. They are not.
Oh no,
Wolverine's a killer. He's been a killer, like he always has been. And the X-Men
Deadpool just doesn't give a fuck, honestly.
He doesn't. I mean, he kills the universe. So you know what I mean? Like to have them in this movie to be able to do exactly what they want to do with it and run it the way they do is absolutely amazing. And I love the fact that they address the like chronological events of Wolverine. Like basically they just reiterated that he's dead. Logan died, but like they're going back to a point where they worked together, which was a very long series in the comic books, which there's like a lot of amazing stuff. And they've always kind of had this like tit for tat relationship. And I think it's going to be amazing to see it on screen.
Glade, you might know this better, but isn't there like an X-Force or X-Factor team where it has Wolverine and Deadpool in it? Or could be off here?
There are adaptations. I couldn't quote exactly. I literally have the Marvel Encyclopedia, so I'll look it up later for you. But I know that there was a bunch of different teams put together over the years. There's some spin-offs. There's stuff that's canon. There's stuff that's not canon. It really depends on what you follow, because like there's also other writers, and you know what I mean. So there definitely is a team in which it's Wolverine and Deadpool, but then there's also times where they just kind of teamed up together to take care of things. Well, so there's a lot of that.
I was just wondering because I feel Suicide Squad. I didn't even see the second one though. The first, there was so much hype around it, but it was executed so poorly. I wonder if they like Marvel could be teeing up for like a more anti-hero squad type situation. Not necessarily Wolverine and Deadpool. I even say might be straight up an anti-hero, not Wolvie, but maybe they could do something like that. Like a more mature, like gritty superhero team of sorts.
People love bad guys.
Yeah.
Like you may not, love the superheroes. Listen, we all love superheroes, but we also love the bad guys. I mean, who doesn't want to be Magneto for like a day?
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lore to it. So, like, of course, people like you like a horror movie. Like, all right, so I know this is going to go way off track.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
Brightburn. Did anybody see that movie?
I heard of it.
No. What's the name? What's the name?
I think it's called Brightburn. So
I've never even heard of it.
Okay, so Google the trailer when you're done with this. Check it out. All right, you have to kind of have a little bit of an open mind because, it's obviously a ripoff of a superhero we all know and, the Man of Steel. Mm-hmm. So it's basically if Superman wasn't a good guy. So they literally go down the road of like this kid comes to Earth, crash lands, spoiler alert, everybody. It's been out for a very long time, so it's kind of your fault. But basically it's a kid growing up who has the powers of Superman, but he is not good. And like, I don't know, I ate it up. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to know what that would be like if he was just like, nah, F the rules. I'm doing what I want. And I think that's where like the anti-hero part is really enticing to people because it's great to see Deadpool just, like I'm not going to try and save these bad guys. I'm just going to get rid of them. You know what I mean?
Have you seen The Boys, the show The Boys?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Because to me, Homelander is also a little bit of that, right? What if Superman was just a terrible, terrible, terrible dude? And that's what makes that show, right? It's not it's not like Huey is okay, but it's like seeing all the dynamics of like superheroes being really messed up.
Well, because like if normal people got these powers, like, dude, not everybody's going to be mentally stable and righteous.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. Society is not so well put together for that. So.
But I'll tell you what cinematic universe I'm ready for is the Smash Brothers universe, and it's coming together. We've got Detective Pikachu, we've got Sonic, who's got multiple movies now, now a Mario movie. I'm just saying, it's coming together.
So on a quick thing on Sonic, I do this mentorship at a local middle school, and I was talking to my mentee, super nice kid, and he loves the Sonic movies. And I was talking to one of the other mentors, and we're just talking about how funny like Jim Carrey is, like randomly. And then my mentee was like, "Oh, Jim Carrey? You mean like Dr. Eggman from Sonic?" And to me, it's just so absurd because Jim Carrey, like, and I read somewhere that's his biggest box office success is Sonic. Like Jim Carrey's biggest commercial success is Sonic, which to me is hilarious because I mean I think Jim Carrey's epic, but to me, I remember him from Ace Ventura, from Liar Liar, from all that stuff. But nowadays, he's Jim Carrey, Dr. Robotnik, or Eggman, or whatever from Sonic.
That's like when people talk about Sean Austin as that guy from Stranger Things.
Yes.
And it's just like Samwise Gamgee did not carry that ring to the depths of Mordor for you to refer to him as that guy from Stranger Things.
I saw it even worse. It was a tweet was like, "Oh, that guy, the dad from Click is now like everyone only recognizes him from Stranger Things." I'm like, okay, you missed it twice. Like you could have said Sam Gamgee twice. You went with guy from Click and then to Stranger Things.
Poor Sam.
Yeah. But one thing, speaking of Stranger Things, a quick plug here for Spooktober. I started watching Netflix every October. They have this director, Mike Flanagan. He releases a spoopy series. The last year was Midnight Mass. That was really good. Before it was The Haunting of Bly Manor, and before that was The Haunting of Hill House. All three of those I thought were really good. I watched the first episode only of Midnight Club. It looks really good. It starts a little bit darker. It's this girl. She finds out she has cancer and she's taken to a hospice for teenagers, which is kind of dark and can be heavy. But it changes. Like the kids have like great personalities and they're all telling their own little like spooky stories. And it has hardcore like haunted house vibes, and clearly there's something like very mysterious about the hospice. So if anyone needs any inspiration for spooky shows in October, I recommend Midnight Club. It seems like good fun, and it's also rated very highly on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that always matters, but it's like 94 or something. So seems pretty legit.
I look forward to those every year as well. They're always really great. So
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a chance to sit down and watch them yet, but like I plan on starting. So
A random aside: the sheriff from Midnight Mass, his name is the actor's name is Rahul Kohli, who was like the Muslim sheriff in Midnight Mass. I followed him on Twitter, and he's a huge gamer, like hardcore gamer. Every time he's on
awesome.
he's a huge gamer and Warhammer aficionado. So when he travels on set, he has like his trunk of like Warhammer painting supplies, and he's just like painting on his time off. It's really funny. He's a really funny guy overall, which it's a very serious show, but off that he's just a huge gamer, huge nerd, and just funny guy all around. So he apparently he has a cameo in Midnight Club. I haven't seen it yet, but I saw on Twitter, he said, "Oh, keep an eye out. I might show up." So it's good to see him there too. On the topic of shows and movies, our next topic in line is Wakanda Forever. We've gotten the first trailer. A lot can change, right? Obviously, Chadwick Boseman is no longer with us, and he carried the mantle of Black Panther so well. So I think there's a lot of question marks, but overall, it seems that people are pretty excited about the trailer. What did you guys think?
all right,
Don't jump in all at once, guys.
Blake was more excited about this.
Don't jump in all at once.
So, it's interesting to see, like, at least from the trailer's point, in which direction they're heading with this. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't followed, being a comic book guy, I haven't followed the whole, Black Panther Wakanda thing. It just wasn't up my alley. But like, I've been following in the cinematic universe, obviously. You know what I mean? So it's really great to see these things, and I'm excited to see a new character, Namor, which is again, there's going to be some amazing actors filling all these roles, and then like I'm just curious of like the end direction of where it's going to end up heading. So, but so far, I mean, like the trailer looks amazing. They're even in their trailer, they're paying homage to him. You know what I mean, for the work that he's done so far, because he has done amazing work already in the role, and it's just it's exciting to see, and just the respect that he's being given is awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome to see for sure. One thing, Bearded, do you want to say something about the trailer?
Oh, I mean, other than that, it's going to be awesome. And from the very get-go of Black Panther, the moment that they showed his little sister, and I forget her character's name, but coming in and being just the genius that she is, and working on her claws that she had, her gauntlets, we were just like, oh yeah, she's going to be Black Panther one day. And then to see it, obviously under tragic circumstances, but to see it come and like the trailer ends with her in full Black Panther suit, and I just got chills. I was just like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited. Dark, are you a big Marvel Cinematic Universe person?
Oh yeah, definitely big Marvel Cinematic Universe. Also DC too, but let's focus on Marvel. Never really read the comics whilst growing up. I wasn't subjected to all of that. Mostly got into Marvel movies quite late when I was in college. I'm actually planning on going to see Black Panther 2 in cinemas when it comes out.
Fantastic.
So I'm trying to work out what day it comes out, because I know the premiere date got moved up to the 1st of November rather than the 11th. So I need to work out, does that change the day of it coming out in cinemas, or yeah. But yeah, definitely planning on going to see it in the cinema. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear I don't know. I've heard it's been really tough to find tickets, as it seems to be for any Marvel release, right? So, Dark, you got tickets already, or are you still looking to buy those?
I mean, I'm waiting until payday for this.
Fair enough. How about you guys? Anyone got tickets for release?
I don't really go and see movies in the theater anymore. I have 1-year-old twins at the house,
Oh.
And so and
That makes things a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, until they're old enough to shut up for a couple hours and watch a movie, I'm not going to be going to theaters. So I will be waiting for it to hit streaming.
Disney Plus.
Now, if Disney Plus does that thing where you can pay a little extra to watch it early, I'll do that in a heartbeat for it because it's something that's awesome. But no, I won't be seeing it in theaters anytime soon.
Kind of same, but different, obviously. But when I got a new puppy in April, and you can't leave them alone, like especially when they're really young, and that's when Multiverse of Madness came out. So
geez.
I had to wait for that to come to streaming to watch it. But now he's 7 months old. Some episodes he might be wandering in the background, but finally, like at 7 months old, you can usually leave them alone like an hour per month of age. So that's enough to kind of go out there, watch a movie. But we actually saw. I was thinking if we got into the movie since we got him, we went to see. They aired the 2 first episodes of the Lord of the Rings series here in the movies, and we went to see those. And those are pretty good. I haven't continued watching them just because I've been really busy, and I think I'm just going to wait for all of them to come out. But the first 2 episodes were pretty good. One of the things that I think is great also about the cinematic universe in general and the Spider-Man video games hitting so hard is that now we have a pretty packed agenda of Marvel games. We have the Wolverine game coming out from the same producers of Spider-Man. There is I believe an EA game for Black Panther. So after Fallen Order was so successful, EA kind of re-upped their interest on single player games. So apparently you take up the Black Panther mantle. And then there's another game that I was actually surprised to see in the Disney gaming stream kind of showcase. It is a World War II based game. Takes place like in Europe, and you play as Captain America or T'Challa's grandfather as Black Panther. And it seems like an adventure action game because it's around World War II, right? T'Challa would have been too young. So that seems kind of cool. We don't know anything else besides they just showed like a splash page. It was an apartment in Paris, and there's like a Hydra insignia and like a World War II gun. And then there's Captain's shield, and there's a claw mark. So like this Captain beefing with Black Panther, like what's going on there.
Wow.
So that seems pretty.
If they could put out like a Medal of Honor style game, but with those characters in it, like
that would be cool.
Like, oh man, that would be fantastic. Oh.
And in the splash page, there were 2 other characters, and it's not clear if they're playable or not. There was like a World War II soldier that was like by Captain America, and then there was one of I forget the name of like the Wakanda, the elite women, like the bodyguards. There was one of them by Black Panther. So I wonder maybe like there can be sections where it's action and you're Captain America. There can be some espionage sections where you're like the elite forces of Wakanda or whatever. So it could be really cool. Just need to find out more about gameplay, right? Cinematic trailers are always nice, but I've been fooled once or twice by those before. So
yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna start wrapping up. We'll go through a couple of email questions here to wrap up this episode. The first one is from this person called Dark Ascendant that may or may not be on this episode right now. In her defense, this question was emailed weeks ago. I just thought it was a great one to go over today. And Dark Ascendant actually jumped on this episode like 10 minutes before we decided to air. So thank you, both her and Glade. So thank you for coming up last minute and filling our ranks here. But question from Dark is, what game do you turn to when you need a mental break? Who wants to take that one first?
For me, it's a variety of mobile games, usually because they're just mind-numbing, and I don't have to be exerting any coordination because a lot of the games I've been playing lately, I've been playing a ton of Enlisted and like a lot of first-person shooter games. And so if I could get on, I've been really into Shop Titans for like the last week.
Oh, nice.
I have put an ungodly amount of time into Shop Titans on my phone. And it is the perfect. I've fallen asleep the last couple of nights, like phone hitting my face, doing Shop Titans. It's just, I don't know why.
Fantastic. Glade, how about you?
So it's pretty easy for me. I also have a child who's about to be 1 year old, actually this month, and it's
Happy early birthday.
Yeah, right. Thank you. The 27th actually. So, with him, it's tough to actually put in some time on Rocket League or like anything that's really both hands. So I actually I play a lot of MTG Arena because it's super passive. I can do it one-handed. I can feed a baby and kind of just sit here with him, you know what I mean, and hang out. Is that or dude, my failsafe is Minecraft. I'm that guy. Like I'll just load it up and I'll just tinker around, and I've never even beat the game by myself. But I just it's just a sandbox. Really, I think it would just be any sandbox or card game. Like I just dive right into, and it's not stressful. It's just me and hanging out.
Dark, asker of the question, and now answerer of question.
I think my main game to go to for that one, which I have been doing recently because I've had a lot of mental problems recently. Tetris Effect Connected. It's just easy to get lost in that.
Okay,
Yeah. Get a flow going.
Yeah, I saw it on Winter's Twitch a while back, before Papa W took over for the streaming side. And I saw one person playing on it with her friends, and I'm like, looks like a good game. Look on Steam, it's about 20 quid. I'm like, okay, gonna wait for a sale. Waited for a sale, and I've now got about 77 hours on it now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of those games. I've beaten it once or twice. The story mode. It's got story mode if you're feeling like you want to.
How does a Tetris story mode look like? Because I've never played. I've played OG Tetris. I haven't played Tetris Effect, so.
It's a bunch of different levels that you got to work through. With the final level being you've got to clear 150 lines with increasing speed. Music's really good too. Yeah, and there's this mechanic called the zone, which you can build up by clearing lines. Then you press a button to activate it, and then all the lines you clear whilst in the zone, it removes it from the bottom. So if you feel like you're about to get knocked out, you can press the zone, go into it, clear a bunch of lines, and then you're safe on that point.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bearded said, I can see that getting like really much into a flow state, just clearing lines in Tetris. That's a good one. Mine, I think, is more aligned a little bit with what Glade said. I love playing kind of life simulator / like things like Stardew Valley, My Life at Portia, things like that, Animal Crossings. Although actually, not to hate on the game, it's super popular, but I got the newest Animal Crossing, and it was just a bit too like annoying for me to play. Honestly, like you have to talk so much to do anything. Like I just want to submit some damn bugs to this person, and I have to go through like 50 chat bubbles. So, but like the Stardew Values, the Terrarias, Minecraft, I've never really gotten into Minecraft. I should give it a shot because it's a lot of fun. And then recently, it's a weird mix of all that. I recently, for the Steam Deck, I got Project Zomboid. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. It's the best zombie apocalypse simulator I've ever seen in my life. So it's hyper realistic. So it's funny. I'm actually moving to Ohio in a month's time, but it has like 4 different locations, like made up locations in the Midwest. So it's like some places in Ohio, some places in Kansas, like like middle America. You just spawn there, and you can either pick like a profession or some traits, and then you're there. Like you're in that house. It's a zombie apocalypse. You can, like, let's say you go into a house, you break the window to go in to like loot the house. You can cut yourself in the glass if you don't clear it. And if you cut yourself, you can get infected. And if you don't bandage the wound, like stuff like that. And in the you're kind of building. Eventually, like the plumbing system fails, so you no longer can drink water from the sink. The electricity power dies down. So it's funny because you start like more technological, but as things break down, you kind of have to build your own little base, and you're always going to die. Like literally the game, when it loads up, like this is the story of how you die, because eventually like things like resources just go away. There's just too many zombies and stuff, but it's kind of stressful, but it's also kind of relaxing once you get into like a good groove of things. It's like, like, oh, I'm waking up, my routine, I'm going to go like scavenge for food, and then I'm going to boil some water so like I can drink like clean water and things like that. I've been dying to play it multiplayer. I've only played single player because then you can kind of delegate and maybe survive for longer, but it's really, really fun. It's been on early access for years, but it 100% feels like a fully functional game. I know a few people on Winter play it. I was talking to Sashenka, Liliana, Papa Dread. They all play it. So maybe we'll get like a little multiplayer game going at some point there. But yeah, any kind of like crafting simulator type thing, life simulator, I think it's always a good game to kind of just like phase out, maybe listen to a podcast and just sink a few hours into that. Awesome. All right, and last question of the day. I thought this was really interesting. It was sent in by Tech Metal. Do you talk to people in real life, such as parents, friends, etc., about Winter Clan and your role in it, and do you do that even if they're not into video games?
I mean, I might mention to people occasionally if the conversation comes up about video games that I'm in a gaming clan. You know, but I don't give them the whole Winter Clan spiel and try to get them to join.
Indoctrinate them to Winter Clan immediately.
Yeah. One of us. Yeah. Like my wife, like she knows that I'm in this clan. She knows that I play some games with people in here. I think I just told her like yesterday or the day before yesterday that I'm over new games coming into the clan, but she doesn't understand. Like I have not explained Winter Clan enough to her for her to understand that I'm a legate or anything like that. She just knows, well, that's his little Discord. Like, so I have, I have a brother and a couple of friends that play games, and I've tried to get them to come into Winter Clan, but it's like they just didn't click for them for some reason. I don't know. And so, but yeah, I mean, I'm very limited. Do I actually talk to people about Winter Clan outside of real life?
That's fair. You, Dark?
I've tried talking to people about it. My mum, obviously, she's not really into gaming. Doesn't really. For some reason, she sees when you're talking to people in Discord, she calls them not real people. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but
everyone on the internet is a bot except you.
Yeah. Every time I talk to my mum about it, she just like, I don't know what you're talking about, and then obviously goes to her whole I don't care spiel. My sister, I've tried getting her into Winter a few times, and she's kind of just gone inactive, so gets kicked after 30 days. She has got her own clan now, so I'm happy that she's got her own separate thing. Playing Destiny 2, I tried. I got her into it, but it took a while. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, it's just some of my friends from university have joined, like Asim, for instance. Infernal 97 as well. He's not that active, but he is still active enough. And then there's other people who just have joined and then got timed out and then couldn't be bothered to join back. So yeah.
Yeah, that's happened to a lot of my friends too. How about you, Glade? Feel like you might know one or two people who are in the clan.
So most of you already know that my fiance is in the server my outlet. She's super supportive. We talk about Winter all the time, whatever it may be, people streaming, things going on. She's actually the quote unquote, I mean, she won't get the title because nobody will give it to her, but the soccer mom. She usually will let me know if somebody's looking for help with Rocket League, if I'm not watching the server or something like that. So
she actually hit me up after the first episode of the podcast. She was like, Tommy, this was awesome. And she gave me suggestions, suggested people to bring in and a bunch of stuff like that. It was super helpful. So shout out to Outlet.
Shout out to Outlet. She's she's been in the server as long as I have, and I've talked to a couple people about Winter. Like my dad's not big into gaming, but he knows what I do, and he thinks it's neat, and he's super supportive and whatever I do anyway. Friends, most of my real life friends don't really play video games that much anymore, and if they do, they're kind of like beardeds that they kind of just do their own thing, and if they see me online, they'll grab me. I did he's probably kicked for 30 days of inactivity, but my boss did join the server for a while because he was a big Warzone guy. He still is, but he just doesn't understand technology as well as we do, I guess. But yeah, not really. I don't try and like recruit anybody or anything, but it's nice to like be within my family. Like I can talk to Outlet about whatever. You know what I mean? Stuff going on in the clan, my promotion to Marshal, stuff like that. It's been
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, I think.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead, Bearden.
Well, sorry, I've heard both of y'all say it. Do we actually kick people when they're inactive for 30 days? I don't know if that
Depends on your
happens.
rank. If you're
does
a
it?
lower rank, so if you're never very active, you might get kicked in the beginning. If you're inactive for a very long time.
I was gonna say, I think it's if you're just a member.
Civilian,
Okay,
I think.
I did not know that. That's teaching me something new about.
It's just an auto feature. The bot just does it automatically if you're.
Okay.
So yeah, there you go.
Part of the thing where you don't get credit for recruitment unless they make it to like soldier. Otherwise, you get nothing.
See, the Winter Clan podcast is educational too. You learn every time.
The more you know.
Exactly. The more you know. But yeah, I'm on a similar boat. My fiance does not care at all about gaming, but she's always supportive on the stuff like the podcast and stuff. A lot of my friends too, like they game very casually, but like when we started the podcast, I dropped them links and they all watched it and commented on it and enjoyed seeing it, even if they didn't even know a lot of the stuff we're talking about. To me, what is funny, like for my age group, I feel like the younger crew, that's way more natural, but like Discord is. And it's funny because I've never seen that happen before. Like I feel like us millennials are pretty tech savvy, but for some reason Discord is the place where like a lot of my friends are like, nah, I don't know how to work this thing, man. Like it's too much. Like I'm not jumping on Discord. Like really, dude? Like you figured out like you can figure anything out. You can't figure Discord out. So a lot of them like play Warzone, they play Destiny, they play this and that, but they're like, no, I don't want to mess with Discord. That's a bit much for me. But I have actually a handful of friends at Winter. None of them are super active. They kind of are seasonal when like new content comes out and stuff like that. But I did actually like even at work I was talking about like some it's interesting, right? Because once you become a leader, like Winter is actually a pretty massive machine. And when you talk about like having the leadership skills to organize events like on a bi-weekly basis, on a weekly basis for a community with thousands of people, those are not irrelevant skills, right? I remember I was for like one of my internal promo things, like people were talking about, oh, what are some things you do outside of work that I think are transferable? And I said Winter, right? I didn't even call it out. I said, but I'm in this gaming community. We have 10,000 members. We were organizing events on a reg. We were recruiting new people. These were skills of like leadership, being able to manage a lot of other people, being able to like find that spirit of collaboration. So I think that actually matters, right? It's no trivial task to do stuff like that. That's the most like real life example I think I've ever shared Winter. But other than that, it's just pretty casual, like side conversation. I never bring it up specifically, but when people ask, it's funny because when I show them the podcast, Ben has done such a legit job with the intro, right? With the music, the splash stuff. Like I show people the video, they're like, holy shit, man. Like how long have you been doing this? Like this looks super legit. I'm like,
famous?
I'm like, I didn't do anything. I just showed up and started talking. Like it's actually free who did all of this, but obviously like everything he does is super polished and it looks really nice. The intro and all that stuff. So it's definitely been fun in that regard. All right, folks, we're coming to the end of our podcast. Anything that's top of mind? Anything you guys want to share about your sections of Winter? I know Bearded, you talked about Shatterline, so everyone take a look at suggested games. Anything else you guys want? Any big events coming up, or maybe updates to your games that are relevant?
Want to go?
Go.
We've got. I'm going to be advertising for Berserk here. Completely unsanctioned, by the way.
Perfect.
We've got a Splatfest tournament coming up. Another one. On the 11th of November, I think.
What's the theme?
The theme, I think, is Pokemon. So that's a big one.
That's a nice crossover.
I think you can choose either team Fire, Water, or Grass. I'm not entirely sure because I'm not a big Pokemon fan. Yeah,
that's probably it. Those are the basic. Those are the usual three starters.
You can see Pikachu and Eevee in the background. That doesn't mean I'm a Pokemon fan. I just picked them up at Comic Con. Those are the only two Pokemon I know. So it's a good reach out to Pokemon fans who have yet to try out Splatoon 3. I don't think that with this one you can. I mean, with how we're running it is you don't have to actually own Splatoon 3 to take part in a tournament. You can just pick a. Berserk's going to make another Google form, and then what you do is just choose from in the Google form which team you want to go for.
Nice.
And then you get if you win, you get a little trophy next to your name if you're a winter.
That's fun. I'll definitely participate in that then. I'm always Team Fire for Pokemon Charmander. I had Pokemon Red when it first came out. I'm a Charmander guy through and through, so I'll throw my name in the hat there.
Yeah.
Glade, sounded like you had something too.
Yeah, I mean Rocket League's Rocket League, but no. So since I've became marshal, we started running tournaments more frequently now, so that'll be more of a regular thing. There are still a ton of people down there that are willing to teach people how to play and bring in newcomers anytime. Doesn't matter. We don't care. You know what I mean? We will take the barest of bare and turn you into something. So there's that. Our competitive season, like the professional series, has kicked off. We have the fall split going on. So they just released a bunch of new team decals. So that's kind of, pretty much the biggest stuff going on for Rocket League. The competitive scene is still thriving. And it's a pretty exciting time to see all the stuff going on Twitch and whatnot. So, the only thing really from Rocket League is just look out for more tournaments. And if you haven't checked it out, come and check it out. We'll show you how to play. It's free to play. That's my plug.
Awesome. Bearded, you can close us out here.
It's all I gotta say is check out the Suggested Games channel. I think I've been doing Suggested Games for 3, maybe 4 months now. And there's some games coming into winter that I never thought would even be in winter. But it's because awesome people give awesome suggestions and they go out and they push it and recruit for it and they make it happen. And so all I would say is go to the Suggested Games channel and don't just vote on things, but if you have an idea for a game that is multiplayer, group oriented, and you have a passion for it because you love it, man, come hit me up my DMs. Let's get it voted on. Let's push it. And I would love to see some of your favorite games become winter games.
Speaking of awesome people giving awesome suggestions, I suggested Chivalry too. So shameless plug. Let's go vote for that game.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's just like a medieval, first-person shooter combat type thing. It's on Game Pass. It's just good old-fashioned decapitation fun there. It's on Steam and it's cross-play and all that stuff. But if you have Game Pass for PC or Xbox, it's definitely worth a look. It's quick matches and it's good fun. So shameless plug there for one of the games I suggested. But all right, guys, thank you so much for jumping on today. I really, truly hope you guys can join us for a few more episodes. But that's it for episode 3, everyone. Thanks a lot. Hit the like button there to help us out. Drop your comments and questions. And actually, I'll be adding a chat channel for the podcast so people can discuss the episodes, put their feedback, put their questions, all that good stuff. But for now, that's it. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
See ya.
Take care.